Fultano's Pizza, our family, serving your family since 1977. In Warrenton, call 861-9367, and in Astoria, 325-2855.
I'd like to call to order the Astoria Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, May 6th. Can I have a roll call, please?
President Carey.
Here.
Commissioner Hartiel.
Here.
Commissioner Tollefson.
Here.
Commissioner Lemire. Here. Commissioner Oliver.
Here.
Commissioner Connor.
Here.
And Commissioner McKay is excused.
Okay. The hearing on the agenda is variance request B08-03 by Floyd Holcomb. Does anyone object to the jurisdiction of Planning Commission to hear the matter at this time? Does any member of the Planning Commission feel he or she has a conflict of interest or any ex parte contacts to declare? Okay, can I have a staff report, please?
Variance request B08-03 by Floyd Holcomb, Pier 38 Marina and RV Park LLC from the 28-foot maximum height of the S2A zone to construct a hotel with varying heights between 36 feet and 48 feet proposed on the north side of the 3800 block of Leif Erikson Drive. Development Code Sections 2.700 to 2.715, Articles 4, 5, 9, and 12, and Comprehensive Plan Sections CP.005 to CP.025, CP.070 to CP.075, CP.130 to CP.186, CP.190 to CP.210, and CP.345 to CP.370 are applicable to the request.
The Planning Commission has received a staff report dated May 2nd, 2008 regarding the subject variance request. The first page of the staff report includes the background summary in which Sherry had just provided some overview of. Page 2 of the staff report includes some additional background information on the subject property as to its location and to what currently exists on the subject site. There is also information on page 3 regarding the adjacent neighborhood, and there is an exhibit in the middle of the page which shows the location of the subject site and the adjacency to the former mobile trailer park, the wooded hillside to the south, the residential area to the southwest, and the Astoria Business Park and the county lot condos to the east. This variance has been submitted in association with a proposed 85-unit hotel, again with varying heights up to 48 feet.
And I appreciate what you've done, and I'm very thorough, but in here you've given us some comparisons, and I just want to, these are comparisons only when I'm reading this. This is not a precedent that's been set. We do not set precedents. We do not go back. And one just going over there, one starts to think, well, if they did it for that time, then they should do it. This is not what this commission does. We don't know that. We're very strong about that. And that's my only point. Thank you for listening. Okay.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's case by case basis. I'd like to open the public testimony. Is there a presentation by the applicant?
Good evening. I'm Floyd Holcomb, 139th Street. I want to introduce the Vice President of my corporation, Victoria Holcomb, my attorney, Tim, and our planning consultant, Beth LaFleur. I'll go through the presentation, basically going through everything that we've studied. We've got a PowerPoint presentation for you, and at that time, answering your questions, and then Tim will address any of the legal issues that come up concerning our application. The question is, where are we on this project? And this project really has been a long-term planning process, basically about the time I started Pier 39. And looked at the fact that we purchased both lots between 37th Street and 39th Street. And there were several reasons why we did that, mainly because the fact that Pier 39 was growing the people that we had acquired the property from Randy, Harry, and I, Urban Pacific to build the condos. A lot of different things were happening. So when we looked at this specific site, the zone was a limited height. It was marine industrial. The property had no activity besides illegal dumping for the last 3 decades, and primarily used as a propane storage and parking lot for the cold storage. The city recommended in our planning process what we're really going to do on the east end of town, and they suggested that if we were going to move forward with a hotel, that we would have to change the zoning to something that was more applicable to that, and they suggested a tourist or a shoreline with a hotel outright use. This brought our existing zoning height, zero height restriction down to 28 feet. And that, unfortunately, hotel flagships don't have 28 feet in their design plans. So this became a conflict into our design standard. What other people saw for this site were more condos, maximum densities that basically filled the entire lot full of condos. They had no plans for riverfront enhancement. Urban hasn't had any enhanced riverwalk activity since their development. No public accessibility, no view corridor. And so Pier 38 decided to purchase it back from Urban to go forward with our more public-friendly plans. And this is really one of the reasons why I brought the property back. As you can see, the Highway 30s to the south of this, the Riverwalks to the north. This was a plan that Urban had presented to the city when I realized that I had to go forward and stop this madness. You can see in this plan, the density was higher than 28 feet, had several different types of structures that blocked all the views from there, and there was no public accessibility, no improvements on the Riverwalk. So we incorporated a plan to look what we thought would be a great opportunity to enhance the east end of town, and we hired some architectural planners that the city had already hired to come up with our own waterfront master plan. And mind you, the waterfront master plan had not even been a discussion at that time. We had come up with this plan on our own to enhance the marina, enhance the accessibility to Pier 39, and also one of the things that brought up from our consultants was the massive hillside terrain behind us would afford a visual scape that would allow taller buildings to the east side of the lot and bring it down to lower buildings to the west side of the lot where you see the 28-foot buildings in the trailer park area. This is totally the opposite of what the zoning was. The zoning was unlimited height in the area that blocked everybody's views, and again, unlimited height to an area where the terrain was masking any views at all. So continuing on with the plans, we then initiated a visual corridor study where we would analyze the terrain, analyze the discussions that we've been had, discussions with the people on the Riverfront Water Master Plan, other complaints and thoughts about what other developments have done. So we made certain criteria to put into our plan: accessibility of the Riverwalk, ability to maximize green space between the Riverwalk and the structure, minimize and eliminate view conflicts, enhance livability of the Riverwalk, and also take a different perspective by design from the Riverwalk, from the riverfront, versus looking at just what the design would have been from Highway 30 or from behind the location. And then the big question is, are we blocking anybody's views? And in this particular site is probably the most no-effect site in Astoria. And then we went out and took actual photos of each locations of different photo houses that we felt that would be impacted by the visual scape, and took it from ground level as well as human height, averaging about 5'5". And then we took visual scape photos from the site itself, looking back at each of those locations so that we could verify our accuracy.